Okay, YouTube, what we've got here is 18 pounds of grain that I kind of screwed up on a customer's order at the store. So it's time to brew beer. I'm going to be adding actually another 3 pounds or so of base malt, so we're going to have basically 13 pounds of Munton's Pale Ale as our base. Oh man, 2 pounds of Munich 10, 1 pound of Crisp Brown, 1 pound of Caramel 20, 2 pounds of Crystal 60, 1 pound of Caramel 120, and 1 pound of Crisp Pale Chocolate. Over there on the hop side, we've got Northdown and Kent Goldings, both UK hops, as well as SO4. 2 packs actually, so I think you can see where this is going. We are going to be doing, basically, I started off calling it Joe's Botched Brown, but this sucker's probably going to wind up to be an Imperial Stout, at least according to Beersmith, which I've got pulled up on the computer over there. So we'll show you the recipe in there, and we've actually got the mash water warming up, the strike water, I guess I should say, and believe it or not, it's at about 6.5 gallons. So the sparge on this is pretty much non-existent. So it'll be interesting. I've never done a beer this big for sure. And I'm going to definitely put the bucket in a big bin because I know it's going to explode. So without further ado, let's get doing this. Okay, so our water is at temp. It is time to get it put in here. We're shooting for a 171 roughly strike temp. Valve is closed on the ton. There's so much water. Oh my goodness. Grab our thermometer here. Okay, and as you guys know, I always use the 5.2 stabilizer. Had that pre-measured out like a cooking show. Okay, and now we'll just start doughing in these grains. That was just the extra stuff I did. This here. Try to figure out how to pour a bag, right? Lost my grip. One bag down, one bowl down, one more bag to go. It's already getting thick, but not too bad. Okay. That went in a bit faster than expected. almost there. Not seeing any dough balls. Delightful. Since this is like this, that you need like another pair of arms. Or a nice fancy system rather than my caveman system, but the caveman system makes pretty good beer. If I do say so myself. And you can feel when you're churning it, it's so thick down there, which is what you want. You don't want it to be, oh, I just saw a dough ball. There's one. Squish that guy out there. I bet that was where all that dust was. In that one bag. I had one bag that the back had a big old chunk of dust. You know, grain flour basically. And I did think, I was like, oh, that's going to be an issue. Okay, we'll get the probe in here. Let's check for temp. Get all that. Okay. Gotta check Beersmith here real quick. Got the laptop right here just off screen. Okay, they're recommending a mash of 156-ish. It's a little warm, but it's gonna get a little more of that malty character. Look at that. Oh my gosh. I do wish you guys could smell this. This is going to be crazy. And it's going to explode. I've only got the airlock. I have a homebrew store and I didn't get any freaking blow-off. That's alright. It'll be an adventure. Keep me busy. Okay. We're sitting at 155. It's that temp there. That's just the set temp for the high side of this thermometer. Oh. So 155. I'm going to seal this bad boy up. And now we're basically going to let it sit and mash for an hour. Boop. 156. Science. Okay, we'll see you guys in an hour. Okay, so it's been an hour. It's now time to check to make sure that the saccharification has occurred. So we do that with our iodine test. So without further ado, pull off a small sample here. Okay, I've got my iodine here just above the camera's eye. So. Whoops. I'm just using the end of a spoon actually to just barely dip into the yeah, you can see it's a nice brown color. It's not turning black, which is kind of the telltale sign that your starches haven't converted yet. So that actually looks pretty darn good. I do believe we have conversion. I did end up doing the hour mash because I got to cleaning a bunch of stuff and had to get the sparge water up to temp. So it actually worked out quite well. So yeah, Nice and brown there. No starch in there, so can't beat that. So now what we're going to do, we're going to begin the Vorloff on this, and then we're actually going to be fly sparging it. So I'm gonna hold off on the Vorloff until we actually have all the water up to temperature. So it shouldn't be just a couple more minutes. Okay, our sparge water is actually just a little bit over temp, which is perfect. I've got it setting there, cooling down, and now what we're going to do is we are going to Vorloff this bad boy as much as we can, and then get that sparge water in there. I think I may actually do a second runnings on this batch, depending upon what the ending gravity is once we've finished sparging here. Maybe able to get another batch out of it. We shall see. I just rummaged through the fridge and found I don't know, 1 ounce of Kent Goldings and a pack of Nottingham. So I don't know what it'll do, but could be a fun experiment. And I'd have to ferment in the bottling bucket, but hey, I keg anyway. So well, let's get this Vorloff done, and let's get it going. Okay, I'm not sure if you can see that or not. It is pretty much pitch black. But this is actually only the second pan of Vorloff, and it's looking pretty darn clear. So I'm actually going to go ahead and, after this pot's done here, go ahead and get it running into the boil kettle, which is right down there on the floor, and we're just gonna get this bad boy going. I don't know if it's a factor of there's so much grain in there that it just compacted itself pretty much instantly, but you can see it's flowing at a nice rate. Looking through the actual stream here, you don't see any chunks, and I'm looking across the top here to see if there are any grain particles, and there's just a very, very small amount in there. So I think we're good. This is exciting. I typically have to do out of a pan this size about 3 or 4 of them. But this one's looking actually pretty good, so we'll go ahead and return this pan's worth of sweet wort to the mash tun here, and we're going to let it rip. Alrighty, YouTube, so you may have noticed something has changed. Well, I was letting this drain off, and I noticed that my gravity was not where it should be by about 30 points. So I knew something was wrong. So what I did is actually I aborted the fly sparge about halfway through. Not a whole lot had actually happened. And instead, I have now basically moved into a gigantic batch sparge. I do want to get the gravity points out of this. Obviously, that's what we were shooting for. So what I did is I went ahead and I added that wort back to this. I actually added the rest of the sparge water as well. And what we did then is I just started stirring, and I noticed right around this part, right around the very front here, which this is the side the spigot is on, the grain was actually completely compacted. So I know we weren't getting the sugars out of that we should. So we've got this now going here. It is probably about time to start Vorloff number 2, I should say. We'll let it set. Obviously, you want to make sure you're maximizing the sugars you get out of it, but you can see the color is phenomenal. Protein's looking good. So it's going to be a good beer regardless, but I did want to get those gravity points. So this ought to do the trick. There are different things you can do, obviously. I'm thinking that I pushed the speed on the fly sparge a bit too much. It's been a long time since I've done one of those, actually, so I would bet money that's exactly what I did. So yeah, we'll just keep stirring this. We will get all these sugars hopefully into suspension and do this again. So we'll see you in a few. Alright, we have reached the end of the sparge process. It's running bubbles right now, so it's time to get that bad boy to the, well, basically to the burner and get it up to temp and get that hops in there, and I can't wait, man. This smells so good. I wish YouTube had odorama. That would be great. Okay, we've reached that critical juncture with the hot break. I just had to kill the propane to prevent a boil over. I'm sure you can see the foam line. But yeah, now time to get it back up to that boil. We got to get the foam incorporated. I can't find my spritzer bottle, so I'm just going to control the propane here and basically go nice and easy with it. You can see it grow, it just goes so fast. Woo! Literally just got to keep your fingers on the propane controller. And we'll just keep working on this until we get that sucker to a rolling boil without the foam. It'll take just a little while, shouldn't take too long in the grand scheme. Yeah, every time I pulse it up, you see it just swells like crazy. Don't want to boil over, that's for sure. Not with this one, it smells too good. So that hot break literally just got reabsorbed. That took a bit longer than I anticipated. But with a beer this big, you're going to have, a lot of proteins, and that's exactly what all that foam is there. So you can see it's going at a nice tilt right now. I think I'm going to give it another little while here just to make sure that it's got all that out of its system before we add all the hops. If you remember from earlier in the video, a recipe called for 4 ounces of hops. I mean, that's a lot. So they smell nice. But yeah, I don't want to add that much hops to, or that many hops to a kettle that's mad at me already. So yeah, we're going to give it another minute or so here, and then we'll get those hops incorporated and get them boiling.